Well, here we are in Newport, Rhode Island again after our earlier trip, and today is not as nice a day as it was when we were going before. Why are we here?
For the start of our big adventure.
Welcome back to the channel. This video is less about things we've learned about our Antares 11 and more about what we're doing with it and how. For those who captain boats, whether it's this type of boat or not, there may be a white knuckle moment or two for you in this video, or at least some exciting stuff for boat nerds like me. Let's get started.
Another big adventure. I think we maybe telegraphed before that we were thinking about sending the boat south for the winter from Cape Cod here down to someplace in the south. So today I'm putting it on the ship, the MV Speigelgracht from 7-Star, which is shipping the boat on a big transport ship down to Florida. Turns out to be cheaper to transport it on a boat than it does to actually drive it down there. Plus, going up and back is not something, down and back is not something that's in our first priority. So we're gonna have an adventure in the spring. Sometime, after the winter is over, we're gonna drive the boat back from Florida up the Intracoastal to Cape Cod. There have been several other Antares 11 owners that have done the Great Loop and this East Coast trip through the ICW. So we'll have all of their accumulated wisdom plus all of the stuff that others have done as well. We're also going to try to spend a little time on it during the winter. Maybe go do the mini loop around southern Florida. We're uncertain about a lot. Do you have any uncertainties you're worried about?
Yeah, today.
Yeah. The big deal is loading the boat on the ship. We've got 3.5-foot seas, and they're loading anyway. And I got to pull up alongside of a ship and have them lift it up on a crane. So let's see what happens from here. More to come. As part of shipping the boat, they want you to have the fuel tanks no more than a third full. I tried to plan to get it to about 40 gallons inside, but somehow or other, I'm only getting, now I'm going to end up at 12 gallons inside of the left one. I've got about 10 minutes of cruising left. Giving me a little angst.
So how did I end up in this situation? Well, I looked only at the fuel level display showing the total in both tanks when I topped up the tanks before going to Newport. Apparently my starboard engine has been burning fuel faster than my port, and I had not realized it because I had not been looking into each individual tank. And in this boat, the tanks do not cross-feed, so each tank burns independently. So gotta watch this always. Lesson learned. So we're gonna see how well calibrated these are. If you look here, it's saying I have 1 gallon of gas left. Now, I think I have more than that, because at one point coming in it said I had 12. But, man, I cut it close. I'm going to get some more gas before I put this on the boat. Well, when I got to Newport, I put some fuel in the starboard tank at the dock. When I did so, I put in enough until the fuel gauge read 47 gallons. But the marina said I only pumped 34 gallons of gas. So there's definitely something up with the calibration of these gauges. It's something that can be fixed, and I'll do it later. But it does mean I might have had an additional 12 gallons in the starboard tank coming into Newport that the gauge didn't show. Well, let me correct that. It showed 12 gallons for a moment just as I was turning into the harbor and then jumped back down to 1. So there's definitely something afoot. I'll make a new video once I figure that all out. So in preparation for sending our boat to south for the winter, we've made a few changes here on the boat, or not really changes, we've just done some stuff for packing. Just show you a little bit about what we've done to think about how we might spend a while on the boat. There are other people who spent longer on the boat, but they don't make videos, and so I'll start with this one. When you're going to have your isinglass, which is on the back of the boat, off for a long time, people tell you to put it flat and cover it with sheets between the layers. We put down not only our front curtains, but all the isinglass of the boat is in between all these layers of stuff. It's in here somewhere. There we go. And that's one bit of prep we've done. One of the things that Benito doesn't talk about in their marketing videos is the fact that this closet doesn't have a closet rod in it. So what we've done instead is we found an expandable closet rod to put across the top up there and then put our hanging things here. And then inside of here, I got some shorter little expandable closet rods and used it for shoe storage and as well as some bins that we put in there to hold some other stuff. Then as we think about what we're going to do to live on it, we've got a variety of things we've done back here to hold ourselves. We found some expanding milk crates. They are actually foldable, and so the one back there in the corner doesn't have anything in it, but nonetheless we've done things like putting all the cleaning supplies and tools, and then started some of the groceries and things like that, and some of the cooking pots and pans. extra linens, and all that, using this down here as a storage locker. Of course, I've got the requisite toolboxes and everything else down here. There's a coffee maker waiting to be used. And so plenty of space for storage for a long-term cruise if that's what you're going to do. The other thing we've done is we bought a couple of Brompton folding bicycles, and we'll have more bicycle stuff when we get there. We got to ship them down there. They're going to live on the flybridge when we are cruising around because there's not a lot of room down here. For the shipping, we're going to stick them in between the freezer here and the front pantry. I've got one of them bundled up already. We'll put this yoga mat between them, all to pat them. About to fold up the other one and put it back there, but it's a great place to store two of them for the ship down. And finally, the day for loading onto the transport ship arrived. The motor vessel Speigelgracht has 3 cranes and 3 holds that can be filled with boats, as well as using the hold covers on the top deck to hold even more boats. On this trip, there are 38 boats in sizes from just smaller than ours up to 90 feet. I flew the drone out over the ship the day before Pretty Swell was scheduled to be loaded on so I could get a sense of the process. I captured a 35-foot Boston whaler being loaded with my drone because I wouldn't be able to fly the drone at the same time as loading my boat the next day. But I'm going to weave this whaler video together with the videos I took on board my boat during the loading process the next day. So just remember there are 2 boats in this video sequence, mine and the whaler. First, the boat to be loaded puts all its fenders out on the side that will face the cargo ship and maneuvers up next to the ship. It looked pretty easy for this whaler, but on my day, the winds were 20 gusting to 30 and the sea was more choppy, making for some white knuckles while I maneuvered into and then held position. The crew on the ship then throws holding straps down to the boat, which the crew on the small boat attaches to the front and rear cleats. This helps keep the small boat in the right position for the next few minutes. That is, assuming the big ship crew fastens the strap well enough to the deck. If you look carefully, you can see the whaler pulling out of the water the front strap, which hadn't been lashed to the big ship well enough and fell down into the water. The same thing happened to me the following day. I actually had to fully pull away from the boat and go around and start again. Just like with a haul out at your local marina, a crane lowers a pair of lifting straps into the water, and the small boat captain eases the boat forward into these straps. Once in the middle of these straps, the diver jumps into the water to make sure the straps are secured at the lifting points and don't have any twist in them. Then the lift starts. Everybody stays on board while the boat gets lifted. The lift master and the lift chief communicate constantly, and the lift is slow until the boat is just out of the water. Then the crane lift goes more quickly. When the boat being lifted reaches the level of the walking deck on the ship, the lift stops and everyone gets off. The lift crew attaches a ton of straps that they will grab and use to control the boat during the lift over the ship. The lift then continues until the boat is in the location it's going, whether down in a lower deck or on top. The whaler ended up below deck, and Pretty Swell ended up on the deck above it after the deck doors were closed. I've sped this next clip up to 4 times actual speed just so that it gets done with. But it's fun to watch the whole lift, so I thought I'd leave it going for you so you can watch until it gets into place. If you look at the deck covers up top, you can get a sense of how much wind there was this day and also how much these guys were having to lean into the straps to control the boat as it was getting pushed around in the wind. Boats are lowered first onto the usual wooden supports before getting struts under the hull, which, after being put in position, are actually welded to the deck for the voyage. Fun fact, the wooden blocks under the boat are notched, just like old-fashioned Lincoln logs, all the better for staying stable and in position on a moving ship. Finally, a launch comes out to the ship to take the small boat's crew back to shore. My good friend Steve helped me on board Pretty Swell throughout this entire process. Fun story, he's lived near Newport for decades and has seen boats get loaded for all those years from a distance. He was overjoyed to be part of the process for the first time. And that's it. The transport ship heads to Freeport, Bahamas next, where I meet it for the unloading process in a few days. Hopefully I can capture some video of that too, though I'm pretty sure I'll be busy and won't have the drone. Thanks again for watching the channel. I hope this was as interesting to you as it was white-knuckle thrilling for me. Ciao.